kid. I need to learn how to make a different mac and cheese, and you want maybe trying different, different cheese sauces, that type of thing. Just let me know. Like I said, I'm more than happy to share, more than happy to show different things that we're doing. So real quick question before we get started. Is there anything in October that you guys would like to see? Other than the recipes I put together, is there anything like a theme or something you'd be like, oh, that would be really fun? Because I'm getting ready to put October classes together.
Chat.
You can, if you want, you can just like let it, you can say it in chat if you want to, use the chat, or you can just shout it out really quick.
You're not muted. You're all muted.
Okay. Yep. Oops. All right.
So
Okay, hold on. There we go. All right, you got unmuted. All right, so yeah, if there's anything that you can think about that you're like, if you're just like today and thinking about it or tomorrow and stuff, feel free just to let me know. Pumpkin pie. We will be doing pumpkin pie in November. So I will be doing probably, I don't know if there's like 2 or 3 classes because we're every 2 weeks. Don't worry, we'll be doing lots and lots of different Thanksgiving recipes. So we will definitely do desserts, and we'll do like the regular, like a main dish and side dishes, all those kind of things. So yeah, pumpkin pie, that's one of Jerry's favorites. We can do like a pumpkin brulee. We can do, we've done a pumpkin roll. We've done a pumpkin cake. We've done pumpkin pies. What else have we done? Pumpkin muffins. Yeah. So pretty much anything we can make it with pumpkin. So I love it. Yeah. Anything else that you guys think about that you'd love to see, let me know. Because that's, we'll make sure I include those in the recipes or themes or that. And if not any other ideas and stuff, then I'll just put them together and we'll get them advertised. I'll probably start advertising October by next week. And then I'll probably like go right into November because, especially with the rise in COVID numbers, nobody's going back to face-to-face or anything like that. So we're just going to keep the remote going, Zoom classes. All right. So, okay. So rice bowl with, that one fly in here is going to drive me nuts. Rice bowl with Korean marinated tofu. So we want to get the tofu ready because we want to get that in the oven. So I've got a little dish here that I'm going to mix everything up. And if you're following along, I've got the gochujang. So here it is. It comes in a couple different looks and feels. So depending on, you used to only find it usually at the Asian stores, but you can now find it like for all the Asian different, like the sambal leek and your tamaris and your soy sauces, it's there. So you can either get it in a little tub like this, which is really cute. This is the only way I could find it before, was in these little tubs. And it's really nice because, when you open it up, it has, it seals it and it's definitely just a thick paste. So it's kind of like a really dark, almost like a burgundy type of color. And then when you taste it, so just taking a little taste of it, it's a little spicy. And I would say if you don't like spicy, then, mix in some like vegetable broth or some water. And if it says like 6 tablespoons, only put like 2 to start out with, and then add a little bit more. And then it's got kind of it's not like really tomatoey, but it's a little bit fruity, a little bit kind of, so it's more of a, more like a spicy, fruity type of a paste, but it's really good. And it's really good on anything that's like Korean or Japanese or anything like that. So love it. You can also, so like the tub, it comes like that, or you can get it sometimes in these little squeeze bottles, kind of like almost like a ketchup, and it's about this big and it's really small. So it's a nice one that if you want just a little dab here and there and not have as much as that, you can get it in those little bottles too that I've seen in the grocery store. So gochujang is one of the, like I said, is one of the up and coming, like all the chefs that are out there love this as far as adding, flavors and like pepper flavors and all those type of things. So we like spicy. So we're going to do the 6 tablespoons of the gochujang, and it's real thick. So it's almost like a tomato paste. Get that all out of there. But we always talk about when I do recipes. So one of the things you want to think about is that a lot of times and stuff, when you try different recipes, what ends up happening is you'll taste it and you'll be like, terrible, and you end up throwing it away, which I don't want to happen, because there's absolutely delicious plant-based food that's out there in recipes. So always try, even with my recipes, because everybody has a different taste palette. Think about, like, if I say, so like 6 tablespoons, start out with, a lot less, like start out with like maybe 1-2 tablespoons, and then start mixing things up, because you can always add. So you can always add more spice, more, more sweetness, more any of those type of things, but you can't take it away. What I don't want is you guys to get in there and whip up a like a nice sauce or something like this and end up throwing it away. So always go low and then keep adding to it, and then kind of mark the recipes and say, oh, I like it, with 3 tablespoons because that's the right heat for me. So that's what I always recommend. All right, then we got the low sodium soy sauce. So you could do low sodium soy sauce, which I'm going to do, but you could add in coconut aminos if you wanted to stay away from the soy sauce. You could add in low sodium tamari. So there's all those kind of different flavors. Bragg's, you could do that type of thing. Any of those type of things that you want for the flavor. We just have low sodium soy sauce, really, really low sodium. So that's what I'm using for today. Then we've got agave or date paste. So didn't have any date paste. I need to make some up this weekend because I have a whole bunch of dates that are in my refrigerator that I need to get rid of. So I'll be making up a date paste. So date paste, to do that, you just basically, if you have like a bowl, say like this size of dates, so maybe you have maybe 5 or 6 dates, of course, that are pitted in here, then just fill it up with water. So it's just sitting there soaking, and then you put it into the blender and you blend it up with the water and the dates. And then you can put it into like a mason jar or some kind of a glass or some kind of a nice storage type of thing, and put it in the fridge. Usually lasts, and it's a really good sweetener because it's natural, usually lasts to probably about 4 weeks. So it's a nice thing to have around. You can put, you can mix it in with your oatmeal, which is really good. So it gives you a nice date flavor, all those type of things. So date paste is always a good thing to have around. And the last time I made it, I tend to make it in I made like one of the big tubs that you get at Costco. And that was a lot of date paste. So I end up freezing it. So that's the other thing. When you freeze it, put it in smaller little bags so that you can take it out and unfreeze it and then use it. And you can put it into, substitute it. It's 1 for 1. So if it says like, 3/4 of a cup of sugar or something like that, do 3/4 of a cup of date paste. And it makes like brownies, everything else. It makes the sweetness and it adds that, but without all the extra sugar and things that a lot of people are trying to stay away from. So, but I didn't have any, so we used the agave today. And then we've got sesame seeds. So toasted sesame seeds, those were just put into the oven at 350 degrees for probably about 2 to 3 minutes until they started getting a little toasty. And then that was it. And pull them out. When you're doing sesame seeds and you're toasting them, make sure you watch your oven because they will go from great, like not toasted, to burnt, like really quick. So make sure you're watching what you're doing. All right, and then we got ginger. So let me pull my ginger. I bent down, so you'll notice ginger, I keep it in the freezer. The reason why is because I like to keep my ginger around. You'll notice that I'm sure you guys have all been, bought ginger, and like, oh, I was gonna make some stir fry or something. And then you end up having like a big piece like this. And then by the time you get done with the ginger, it ends up being like this big in your refrigerator. So if you just put it, don't peel it or anything else, just put it in the bag and keep it in your freezer. It'll keep it fresh. Looks like there's a question. Yes, so can you toast the sesame seeds on top of the oven with a skillet? You sure can. So just the same thing. They'll pop a little bit, which is fine, like just kind of like some of your nuts do, but just the skillet and just kind of keep stirring it or moving around a little bit and you can toast them right up. And then your house smells wonderful. Nothing better than having like toasted nut smell in the house. It smells almost like you're baking cookies. So yeah, great question, Francis. So, all right, so you've got your ginger here. It's been frozen. And this is the nice thing about it too, is when you get, these chunks and you get like say 4 or 5 of these chunks, you just keep them in the freezer and they last forever. So a lot of people say, oh, don't you have to peel off the skin here because it's on there. And usually you'll see, people with spoons like this and they're scraping off all the skin and everything. You don't have to when it's frozen. Just take it like this. You got a microplane or some kind of a plane like this. Then you just take it and you just start microplaning it. And we said we're going to do 2 teaspoons. So it's going to be a lot of gravy. And then when you do that, take a smell of it. It's fresh ginger and it's so good. And what's nice about it when it's frozen, every once in a while you'll get like a piece like this of the skin. So just pull it off to the side. But otherwise, it just grates right in there into everything else that you're doing. You won't even notice. If you don't want to grate it, you can always buy ginger. It's in the tubes, and you've got the fresh ginger too to use it that way. But this is so nice. You never, you always have ginger in the house. You never have to go to the store to buy it because that's a lot of times I get ready to make something. I'm like, oh, I need ginger. So keep it in the freezer and just keep in my bag full. So I'll buy like, maybe every month like this, probably I'll go to the store this weekend and buy 2 more chunks like this. And I just keep it full and away you go. Yeah, just a little bit more. Nothing better than fresh ginger. So then when you're done, just like that, put it back in the freezer bag, close it up, back in the freezer. I do the same thing for basil. So, you know, if we get extra basil or something like that, or I have a class, I always usually have, when Jerry, if he goes to shopping for me or something, buy the big box of basil, and then I'll use whatever I need to do for the class, and then I'll take the rest and I pull it off of the, you know, the big stems and stuff, and I'll just put it in a baggie in the freezer. And then that way and stuff, I have basil. So when I'm making all kinds of sauce and stuff, I can just pull it out and I can put, you know, a lot of basil in our like spaghetti sauces, which is really good. So I just keep frozen basil in there too. All right, so just get the spoon, clean this off. I'm going to use the whisk. All right, throw these over here out of the way. It smells so good. The gochujang, like I said, it has a really nice, like peppery, kind of a little bit of a heat type with it. But then you put the sesame seeds in, and the sesame seeds kind of start smoking or picking up the moisture, and then you've got the agave and everything else. It's wonderful. And the gochujang too is going to be really nice on the tofu, because it's actually going to turn it a really nice kind of a burgundy red. Okay, so that's all stirred up. So it just looks like that. And by the time you add the liquid, it becomes more pourable like that. So that's ready. So taste-wise, still has a little bit of heat, but it's kind of like heat, fruity, sweet, which is really nice, and a little bit of nutty, which I love. Those are all good flavors together. All right, so tofu. You can get tofu presses. You know, I do have one, but most of the time what I end up doing is I'll take the tofu, I'll usually put it on like some kind of a, you know, like either like a white cotton towel, or I'll just use paper towels. And then if I'm getting ready and I want it really quick, I will actually put a couple of plates on here with some weight, and then it just presses it down. So it almost acts like a tofu press. If you have a little bit of time, as long as you put the paper towel or some kind of a cotton towel underneath it, it soaks up all the moisture. So you can actually just, you know, pull it out. And this is actually a firm tofu. And then all of your moisture is right there. And it's all ready to go without having to go buy an expensive tofu press. So let me put this over the side. All right, so we're gonna do chunks. So when we were looking at this, so you can do, you know, all kinds of different chunks. You could do strips if you wanted to with this. I'm just gonna do, it's usually about 6 across. They're usually about a little over 1/4 inch slices. So just slice them up. And usually I do a little bit like a little bit over 1/4 inch. That way they hold up, because if you do them too thin, then a lot of your little squares and stuff, the little chunks and stuff will actually fall apart, especially when you're putting a sauce on them. Trying to debate, I'll just make that a U. Okay, there we go. Okay, so we have those, and what I usually end up doing is I take 3 slices, turn them over like that. You're cutting up tofu. And then I come back and I usually do 3 slices across. 1. You'll see what I do a lot of times is I'll hold down the tofu on the side and then slide my knife through, so that you don't end up losing the pieces and it all stays together. Because next thing you want to do, flip them towards you like that. And then we're going to do little chunks. So I am going to grab, let's see, so we're going to put the tofu, I don't want to do it in that. So let me just grab a big bowl. Because half the sauce, and if I get these little chunks, half the sauce is going to go with them on the tofu, and the rest of the stuff you can mix in with your rice. Because there's nothing better than when you have a bowl and you get to have extra sauce. That's what, I'm a sauce person. I love anything that you get to dip or have sauce with. So, all right, so the chunks, nice little bite-sized chunks. And we are going to roast them up here in just a second. And this is the tofu, so it's just a regular tofu, and it's in the one that I always get, and I just always buy it is extra firm. I just like the extra firm just because it holds up really well.
Non-GMO too.
And non-GMO. Yep. Okay. All right, so just go in there. If you got little pieces, just make sure they're all separated. I'm going to grab my baking dish. There. All right, so got a little bit of the sauce. If you think your sauce is a little bit too thick and you want to have it just a little bit more pourable, then just grab your vegetable broth and just add a little bit, or water, doesn't matter. And that way and stuff, you've got a little bit extra sauce and it just goes a little bit longer. So just mix that up really quick. Pour it on. Grab a big spoon and then just do a toss. Isn't that pretty? It's already kind of a rust burgundy kind of a color, which makes it toast up really nice. Making sure I get it all covered. Okay. Let's see, what brand of broth was that? Yeah, it actually, it's a great question. So this one, I got these come at Costco. So I haven't checked, and I was going to check the other day to see if you can get them on Amazon. So Costco, if you've ever, your Costco and stuff, you could go from one Costco to another and it will have different brands. So if you go look for things, sometimes each store is a little bit different, but it's called Culinary Treasures Organic Low Sodium Vegetable Broth. So the amount of sodium and stuff is a lot less. It's like only 140 milligrams and 10 calories, but I love the little boxes, but whenever I find it at, because a lot of times the Costco's are carrying bone broth a lot, but whenever I find it, the organic low sodium, they're very inexpensive. They're a lot cheaper than the stores. And so I'll buy like 4 or 5 of these. They're like 12 to a box or a case. I'll buy like 4 or 5 cases and then just go through them. Because it's the nice about the size too, they can stack them up a lot more too, which I really like. So Culinary Treasures is the name of it. But like I said, I didn't check if anybody's on their phone or on the internet right now. See if Culinary Treasures, if you could find that, if Amazon carries it. Because it's not easy to always find at Costco. And that's the only place I've ever been able to find that. Okay, so then you just spread this out. Make sure you get all the goodies. Make sure you spread it out because you've got a big baking sheet. And you want to make sure you get, everything, all the sides and everything all nice and toasty. All right, and it goes in the oven. That's all you need to do with that. I have so normally 350 in your oven, and you're going to be doing it anywhere between 15 and 20 minutes. And you can, tofu is one of those ones that you can play with. If you like it still soft, then you're probably like your 15 to 18 minutes. If you want it more like firm, so more chewy and have that kind of that mouth feel, then I would say you're probably 20 to 25 minutes. So we'll just kind of play with it a little bit. I like it more with it's like kind of like firm, a little bit spongy. So it's a little bit kind of like toasted on the outside and then really kind of soft on the inside, which makes, to me, I think tofu when it's roasted up like that really good. Could you use an air fryer? Yes, you sure can. A lot of people now on tofu are using air fryers. So definitely you could throw it, you could do the same thing with your sauce and then throw it into the air fryer. I'm not sure on time wise, because I had an air fryer at the beginning and then Jerry and I were kind of using it and we're like, and then this was like probably 4 or 5 years ago. And then I ended up sending it to my dad. So I haven't used it since, but I would say probably about the same, probably 1 to 1. So it's probably like 15 minutes, 20 minutes, depending on how firm you want it or how soft you want it. So yeah, I've seen lots and lots of people using tofu in the air fryers now. So yeah. Okay. Let's get this kind of brushed off a little bit. All right. So that is in the oven. We are going to make the side vegetables with this. So you can actually do, and you know what I just realized that I forgot? Nobody caught me. Garlic. Oops. So I'm going to add just a little bit to the sauce. That happens when you get talking and you miss out. So All right, so I'm gonna put that there and I'll just put the rest back so we don't have to worry about that. So just a little bit in the sauce. But truthfully, I tasted it. Didn't miss the garlic at all. It's great. Then I have a little bit more sesame seeds, so we'll do that for the garnish later. All right, so we've got brown rice going. So let me show you that. So I just did it in the pressure cooker. So rice. So when you're doing, so if I say 3 cups of brown rice, one of the things that you want to do is you want to always do half of it dried. So I would say if you want 3 cups of brown rice, you want to do 1.5 cups of the dried. And so then that way it actually gets the rice. So I just put it in, and I made a little bit more because Jerry loves rice, and we sometimes feed the dogs rice. They love it and things like that. So we've got a little bit extra. He will eat. I've seen Jerry like eat a plate of rice, like huge, with a little bit of vegetables on it. So he will not complain with all the different rice. So I just put it in the pressure cooker, and I put in, there was probably about 2 cups by the time it was all said and done. Put in just enough water where it was probably about 3 cups of water just on the top. Put it in the pressure cooker, set it for, and you can go anywhere between 10 and 20 minutes. I just wanted to make sure it was really soft and good. So I did 20 minutes in the pressure cooker. And of course it takes 10 minutes to heat it up, and then it was all ready to go. So it's been sitting, for almost an hour now, just all nice and warm. So when I put it back in the pressure cooker, it's keeping it all nice and warm. So it's all nice and fluffy and ready to go. So just keep it warm because you want to have that warm rice, which is really good. All right, so we got that. So now we've got carrots. So carrots are always great. And one thing about this bowl, think about, there's so many different vegetables out there. So you could do zucchini, you could do, a cauliflower, there's just like tons of things of vegetables. So if you have different vegetables, you could add it to this bowl. You could do mushrooms, especially like with Koreans, mushrooms are really good. So there's all kinds of things that you could make this your own. I'm just doing a simple recipe, but think about just keep adding as you go along. So matchsticks. So usually the matchsticks, of course, and I've already peeled these, but matchsticks are the little thin slices. So like the size of a matchstick. So you can cut them by hand, or you can get these. These are the most wonderful tools I've ever gotten. So this one's called briefdens. So it's just like briefs, BRIEFTONS. So I'll show this one. They come in a set, which is really nice. So these are peelers. So you get the big one like this, and I'll show you what the big one does, which is really nice. And it's got a really nice handle on them, and they're not heavy, which is wonderful. So make sure the spelling's the right way. And then there's a small one that just it cleans up well. So let me show you the small one, the set. And I think it was under like $10 when I got them. And so you get a set like this, and they last. I mean, I probably had these 5-6 years now, and they just last forever. I don't use this one, the big one, as much because it does a special cut, but I use this one all the time. And it just, it cleans up well, and it holds up in the dishwasher if you want to put in the dishwasher, but a great set for under $10. They last forever. So this one, special tool. I love this thing. So if you want to make nice little matchstick slices of your carrots, or if you've got other types of vegetables, you can do that. So you've got these cute little blades on it, and you just run it down. So let me do a couple of them. And what it does, gives you these really nice thin matchsticks of carrots. So whatever vegetable that you're using it for, that's what you can use it for, that. So I'm going to put this in here. So you're just going to you just run it just like a peeler. Grab them out as you're doing them. And you could do a whole bowl. So without, going and buying something that's already cut up, if you have this little peeler, it makes them really quick. And I know like Jerry's, he's a little strange about, I always tell him all his secrets, but he's a little strange about the carrots in the bags and stuff, because he's like, oh, they don't taste fresh, they taste fake. And so when I do things like this, he'll eat this whole bowl just sitting there. Just kind of turn it around. It's nice too when you do this, you can just add, you can make it for decorations, all those type of things, but it just makes really good carrots that are not hard to eat. Because sometimes if you do your matchsticks, if you do them a little too thick, then they're kind of chewy and hard to eat. So you just keep doing this. Penny drop on the floor. We got Penny over here. One of our dogs, she will definitely grab up the carrots. She prefers them cooked. more so, but she likes her carrots. And what's really fun too, so like when I get down to where I've got all the slices and everything that I can get out of the, once in a while you get one that gets stuck and you just pull it out, the end of it. When it gets down to a small piece, especially if I'm making dinner, then of course what ends up happening is I do this in little slices and I give him to Jerry to eat. That's just like his hors d'oeuvre before, before dinner. So he doesn't complain at all about that kind of stuff. Just keep going, just kind of keep it on your cutting board, keep it down like that. Get as much as you can. So 1 carrot, I'll show you how much it makes. So 1 medium carrot makes about that many, which is really nice. So that actually would be enough for the 2 bowls that we're going to do, but I'm going to go ahead and fill up the next one. And then, like I said, I always just kind of just do a nice cut. Jerry, stick out your hand. There you go.
Thank you.
And depending on how far you go up your carrot, depends on how big of slices that you're going to get. So how long? So like some of these, really nice long slices of them. But it's so easy to get a beautiful looking matchstick of a carrot without having to do all the work. Everybody, like if you had friends and family over, things like that, they'd be like, wow, that is so good. Did you cut all those by yourself? And be like, yes, I did. I cut them by hand. They just don't have to know you peel them by hand. All right, those in there. A few more. Anything to go to waste. Like I said, every once in a while you'll get a little piece, like a chunk or something. Just pull it out and then just start doing it again. And I just turn it on all edges. That way I get a little bit of on every side, no waste. Okay, comes down a little slice like that. One more. Penny. All right, there's our carrots, all ready to go. Fresh carrots. Want the other one?
Sure.
I don't know what she's barking at because both the window and the door is closed. She can't see out. Here we go. There's carrots. Okay, wipe off the cutting board. The beautiful carrots all ready to go. Yum. Cucumber. So cucumbers and stuff, the way I do matchsticks, and so you can do, you could do like little rounds and then half moons and all that. So I just end up doing a cut down the middle, so lengthways, and then another one. So usually on that, I'll try to get 3 slices, depending on the size of your cucumber. So they become like little planks, which is really good. All right. If you get a little piece, don't worry about that. So then you just take that, you get a bigger piece. So a piece like this, and then you just, just do nice little tiny cuts. And if you get in the middle, sometimes your cucumbers they're really seedy. You've got lots of seeds and stuff, and so they might be like a little bit too moist or something like that. If you don't like that, then just pull it out and just use the edges of it. But then you get these, you got these nice little pieces. Cucumber. And if you don't want the long slices, chop them up, make them smaller. Let me just get these going. And you can tell too on the cucumber, just because of the skin and stuff. So I usually, what I'll usually do when I get a cucumber, I'll just actually peel, I'll peel like every probably ½ inch. And so some of it will have the peelings and some won't. So I always just do that. You don't have to though. You hear Jerry if you're close to the camera eating carrots.
Can't hear me. No.
I can. And one more. Okay. So half of a cucumber ended up with really nice slices of cucumber. You want more? Add more. But like I said, just with here, you could do zucchini, you could do cauliflower, you could do broccoli, you could add all those different vegetables. You could, instead of having them just raw like this, you could actually do, you could steam your broccoli a little bit and your cauliflower a little bit and actually have that on the side too, which would be really pretty and taste wonderful. All right, so then let's get the kimchi going, then we'll come back for the avocado. Get carrots everywhere. All right, bowl. So more cucumbers. So you could use, the English cucumbers if you wanted to. We just did the regular cucumbers. So all I did was slice them up. In a restaurant, if not, if you should. Thank you. We'd always thought of it's truthfully. Let me just answer you the question on that. We've always thought about it, but a restaurant is a lot of work. So I almost would, if I was going to do something, I would actually prefer where it's almost not really like a deli, but a place you could sit, like have some seats, but make things up and people could come in and grab, it's like, here's your, like you get an entree and a side dish and salads and things like that and really, take it home and enjoy it and have really good food. So otherwise the restaurant, like trying to figure all of that out is a lot. I have a friend that's a restaurateur and has been since he was probably 18 years old. He's just like we had talked about one time going in together, but he's now at the age he's like, no, I don't want to do this anymore. So, all right, so cucumbers, I just did them. So we talked about and as far as the cut, so 1/3 to 1/4 inch. So just a nice little cut like that. If you don't want the rounds, feel free to, you can do them in quarters, you can do them in half moons, whatever you'd like to do. I just did the rounds. I'll put those in the bowl like that. Get those because those are going to be mixed up here in a second. And then we're going to mix the ingredients in a bowl. So I think I used my bowl, so I'm going to grab another one. All right, so we are going to do the red chili flakes. This is what I wanted to tell you about. So you can get red chili powder, which is, I got this off of Amazon. I think it was like $6 or something. Or, if you don't want to do the red, you don't care about the color or anything like that, you can just use your red pepper flakes and just kind of like take put them in a blender or one of those coffee grinders and just grind those up a little bit. But this was just nice because it's I can use it for other things, but it's just, those little red chilies and it's just a powder. So it's going to give me a nice red color within kind of like what you see usually with kimchi. And then it adds a little bit of the heat too. So I taste it. I always like to tell you guys kind of like when I'm tasting something what the flavors are. Definitely just almost like not really heat, very, very little of that. I would say the gochujang is a little bit hot, but it has just a nice like pepper flavor. So red chili powder, if you want to do that, you can get them in like little small containers or big containers like this, definitely under $6 for something. And I think once you try it, you'll probably end up using it for other things, all kinds of like stir fries and those type of things to give you your flavors. All right, so we've got the red chili flakes. I've got a tablespoon. So same thing. If you get it, add less. Start with like, maybe 1/8 of a teaspoon or something like that, and then just keep adding more to it. That way it doesn't become too hot or just too the flavor that you're not looking for. All right, and we've got 1 garlic clove, so we will definitely get the garlic in this time. Won't forget it. And that's just minced garlic. And then we've got so a little bit of sugar. So I've got the agave, but you could definitely, like I said, you could use maple syrup, you could use date paste, So as of this weekend, I will get the date paste going because especially when I get into the November timeframe, like all the desserts and everything I make is all with date paste. So I will definitely show that. And then we've got low sodium soy sauce. That. And then we've got the green onions, which I'll add here in just a second. So just the green ends of the onions. Just mix that up. Just looks really nice, just like a nice little taste. Okay, and if you're following along with that, so you can, it says taste, taste the seasonings and then adjust. That's good. That's really good. That doesn't need anything. Yum. This would be actually a really good sauce too on a stir fry. So that would be another way that if you decide to order a jar like this of this, a stir fry, really good. Or in some rice. Okay, so then we're just gonna mix it in. Make sure you get all the goodies out. I'm gonna grab a big spoon again. And then just mix it up. This would be a nice dish too. You could actually, you could put some, like if you wanted some onions into it, maybe a little bit of green cabbage into it also. And then you could put it into a mason jar or a type of like a glass dish, and then let it set for a couple nights or overnight. And then the next day and stuff, have it with all the other mixed vegetables. Zucchini would be great in here. Pretty much do anything that you want with that. And it's like a quick type of cucumber kimchi. Just make sure it's all mixed up there. And then I'm going to refrigerate it for just a few minutes. So I'm going to check the tofu. Ooh, looking good. It's already starting to see the brown, so you can see all the actually browning and stuff on it. So I'm going to just, since it's been in there for a little bit, I am going to take a fork or a spatula, whichever you want, and I'm going to actually just, I'm just going to flip it just a little bit. Spread it back out. Taste. Nothing better than if you've got a really good sauce on some tofu to add it to like the salads or rice or any of those type of things. It's really good. Just like I said, just a little bit of heat, but nothing that like makes you cry or I've seen some people where they eat too much that's hot and they just start sweating. It's not, it's just, to me, it's just right, but try it. Go down on the gochujang and then go back up, with the heat that you like. That's really good. I'd be happy with that. We don't do, I mean, we tend to do some recipes lately with tofu, but we don't do a lot of tofu at home. We take, we'll do, we'll make like the tofu mayo, and we'll have that, and we use a little bit here and there. But it's it's just your preference and stuff. But when it's something like this and you put it into a bowl, good, very good. All right, so let me just mix this up again. So you can see that the coloring, the red chili powder is starting to break down. So it's already starting to get and turn to the nice color, and it actually looks like a kimchi. But this would be really good broken down, and then actually like the next day with cabbage, a little bit of onions or the green scallions, that type of thing would be really good. So let me just put this in the fridge for just a few minutes to sit. All right. So tofu will be ready here in a second. So let's get the avocado. So it says a whole avocado sliced. So since we've got the bowls and stuff, I'll go ahead and do some slices of it. But you could do, like regular chunks if you want to, up to you. I'm going to actually just use a half because that's going to give us more than enough slices and stuff for dinner tonight. So, and then I'll show you what I'll do with the avocado. Keep it fresh. Beautiful avocado. Good job, Jared, at the store.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's really nice. One of the things they always talk about, and I don't know if it's true or not, but it seems to be. So like when you have the little stem, the stem top that's right here, a lot of times if you will pop the stem top off, but you can see everybody sitting in the grocery store and popping this off. If it's still green like there, that usually means it's a really, really good, fresh, and you won't have all the bruises and things like that on the avocado. If it starts to get where it's more gray, you're going to tend to open up and you'll have a little bit of discoloring and stuff on the avocado, but that one's beautiful. So then when I have a half and half, I have, you've seen this before. Sorry, but if you haven't, this is wonderful. I got this on Amazon. It's called an avo saver. So, AVO, so avocado saver. And it's this little thing that is, and it's a girl at work and stuff, probably about 3 years ago, had one, and she brought it in with her salad. And I'm like, what in the world is that? That is so cool. And she's like, oh, I got it at Bed Bath & Beyond or something, but I never found it. I only found it on, you get 2 of them, Amazon for, I think, under $9 or something like that. So I always tell everybody about it. So you've got your side with the pit. So same thing, it just looks like an avocado with pit. You just put the pit in there like that, and then you give it a nice little kind of a rubber wrap, I guess is what you say. Has these little things here. Make it tight like that and put it in the fridge. So even 2 days later, and when I got this and stuff, Jerry's like, kind of gives me the eye roll, like, oh great, yeah, just gonna throw away. But it actually keeps the avocado really fresh. So you'll get a little bit of oxidation and stuff on your avocado around the sides, but you can just take a knife and just kind of skim that off and things. But you could pull this out like 2 days later and you don't have the yucky discolorants in your avocado. And so we just keep it in there. And then the nice thing about it too, is when you see it in your fridge, you have a half avocado or whatever else left, which is nice. So it doesn't, not out of sight, out of mind. Throw that in there. And then I have a nice avocado here. So big spoon. Just go around the side so you don't have to worry about peeling or anything like that. Flip it over, you get a little bit of the skin that comes off. You just have to peel it like that. And if you do have, it looks like there's a couple little spots and things, you can just, just kind of take a spoon over it or a knife or something, just a little bit. Put that over there. And then just do nice little slices. So little thin slices. I always just like when you've got, certain knives, most of the time, things will stick. So you just, do a nice chop, just kind of put your finger over the side like that. Keep fingers out of the way, of course. And then it'll keep your slices from popping up and going across your cutting board, which is really nice. Okay, so that's all done. Then you do the fan like that, so you can get to the slices. And it's all ready to go. That'll be for decoration. Yum. Avocado. So I could be like, I was thinking tomorrow for lunch could be like, steamed broccoli, because you got some of that. And we could definitely put, put the carrots and the cucumbers. And I was trying to think what else we've got in the fridge. Maybe some maybe some steamed onions or some sauteed onions. That would be really good. Yum. Okay, so let me look at so we're right at time. Let me get this built. Time flies. We're having fun. Okay. Built so we can show them to you. Get everything in this. Nice 2 dishes. Rice. I know Jerry, so I'll get lots of good rice. Just a regular brown rice. Tofu. Oh, there we go.
I have it out.
Thank you. I'm like, oh, okay. So if you're reading along with the recipe, so you've got the tofu. So you have that carrots, the cucumber, the avocado, and the cooked tofu. So grab some of your cucumber. Add it however you would like. I'm kind of putting the cucumber little stripes down the side a little bit. And build a little teepee. Carrots. And one thing, I'm going to drizzle a little bit more of the sauce, but I'm going to drizzle it on the top. So you could add it to just like what I said on the recipe, You can add it to your rice if you wanted to make like really seasoned rice. I'm going to actually use it more as a topping. Lots of good carrots. Let's get a couple. I noticed that there's not really greenery here too much, so put that in there. All right, tofu. Nice. Like that, spongy, like that. That's the way I love it. Still soft on the inside, but really, really good. Spread it out. That. A couple more pieces. Okay. Move that over. Add the kimchi cucumbers, all the yummy sauce. Penny. Okay, for of course making them pretty, you've got your scallions. Also have black sesame seeds. Black sesame seeds on cucumbers always makes it so pretty. Okay, I'll put these back in there for a second. If you've got, if you have a little bit of the regular, you can add those too, because the mixture is really pretty. All right, so we got that. We have got, I'm gonna put the sauce on. It's kind of a nice little swish. A little bit more. Enough there so we can show you what it looks like. All right, got those two things. We've got scallions again also. You don't have to go buy scallions, they're just pretty. When I'm doing classes and stuff, the greenery just makes it pretty. And then when you're taking photos, the scallions are really pretty on it too. Okay, and then black sesame seeds, avocado. I'm going to do a little fan. Let's do a 3. Even out. Black sesame seeds. Down for the home stretch. And add them on top of the avocado. And a little pinch of the regular. And voila. Are you hungry, Jer?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, put that one off the side. So we have the rice bowl with the Korean marinated tofu. And that looked delicious. All that yummy sauce, got plenty of sauce left over and stuff that we can add more as we need it. But then it's got your, it's got your avocado slices, all your carrots and your cucumbers. And then we have the cucumber kimchi. So there, right there, is dinner tonight. Hope you guys enjoy. Hope it looks good. How's the second cookbook coming? I need to start working on, I have tons and tons of pictures. I just need to sit down. Thank you for asking. I need to sit down and I need to organize it. So that is on my goal, and to take some time off at work because I work at a healthcare large hospital system here in Colorado, and of course, COVID and craziness and buying up and acquiring and all that's crazy. So got to get that going. So I've started getting things organized, but I definitely have some beautiful photos and things. I'm gonna add lots and lots of photos, but thank you for asking. Oh, you're welcome. Thank you guys. I appreciate it. And we will see you in 2 weeks. Love you guys.
Yep. Bye.
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 Bye-bye.
Thank you for another great recipe.
You're welcome. Try it and let me know what it's like. See if you like it.
Bye.
It tastes, to me, it's wonderful. Good. Looking forward to it.
Good night. Bye.
Bye-bye. Take care.